Dear students, in this theorem, we will prove a theorem based on monotonicity of the sequences. Here theorem is divided into two parts. First part of this theorem says every monotonically increasing sequence which is bounded above converges to its least upper bound. So if we have a monotonically increasing sequence, then the sequence converges to its least upper bound. Graphically, suppose this is the sequence monotonically increasing, which is bounded above. Here this sequence is bounded above, so we are having a number here, and all the terms of the sequence is laying below. So then we have to prove that this sequence converges to its least upper bound, which is almost this point. Suppose u. So we have to show that this is a1, 2 and so on. So we have to prove that this sequence an tends to u. Fine. This is the theorem. So how to prove this theorem? Similarly, in the second part, every monotonic decreasing sequence which is bounded below converges to its greatest lower bound. So if on the other side, if the sequence is monotonically decreasing here and which is bounded below by some, say u, l, then we have to show that this an tends to l, following this as n tending to infinite, so we have to prove this theorem. Fine. Let us see first part. Here let an be a monotonically increasing sequence. This is already given to you. So an be a monotonically increasing sequence which is bounded above. This is already given to you. What is your purpose? Your purpose is to show that the sequence actually converges to the least upper bound. So suppose u be the least upper bound of the sequence, because sequence is bounded above. So obviously there will be a bound, and that's why we are having infinitely many bounds. And we have already shown this through the example. If this sequence is there, and if suppose this sequence is bounded by u, then there are infinitely many bounds, and among all these, which one is the less one is the least upper bound. Suppose u is there, so we have to show that an is tending to u. This is our purpose. So here let u be the least upper bound of the sequence an. So we shall show that an converges to u. Fine. Now since u is the least upper bound of this sequence, then obviously by the definition of the least upper bound, if you slightly subtract some amount epsilon from this, so this will be u minus epsilon, this is u, then immediately you can get some term, suppose am here of the sequence, some term laying in between these two. So that's why let epsilon be given, then u minus epsilon will be less than u, and u minus epsilon is not any upper bound of en, because there is a term in between this and this. There is a term which is greater than that. That's why u minus epsilon will not be a upper bound, and since this is not an upper bound, so there is no meaning of least upper bound. So u minus epsilon is not even an upper bound also. That's why there exists a positive integer m such that am is greater than u minus epsilon, and here we have shown this am is greater than u minus epsilon. Fine. Now since an is monotonically increasing, that's why by the definition of monotonically increasing, whenever n is greater than equals to m, an is also greater than equals to m by the definition of monotonically increasing sequence. Now we are combining this definition and this definition. So an is greater than equals to m according to this, but am is greater than u minus epsilon, and this is for all, valid for all n greater than equals to. This is valid for all these. So that's why we can rewrite this equation as an is greater than u minus epsilon for all n greater than equals to m. This is equation number 1. Fine. Now u is the least upper bound of the sequence. That's why all the terms of the sequence will be less than equals to this u. This is by the definition of the least upper bound. That's why an is less than equals to u. And we know that if you slightly add some amount, then again this equality holds. That's why as u is less than u plus epsilon, so an is less than equals to u is less than u plus epsilon for all n belongs to n, because this is the least upper bound, so all the terms will be less than this. So this will be satisfied by this. That's why you can again rewrite this as an is less than u plus epsilon for all n belongs to n. Fine. So this is equation number 2. So now equation number 1 says that equation number 1 is what? An is greater than u minus epsilon for all n greater than equals to m. This is equation number 1. And equation number 2 says an is less than u plus epsilon for all n belongs to n. This is for all n belongs to n. Now understand the meaning of these two equations. This is the graph. First equation says that, suppose this is u. First equation says that all the terms after m, they are greater than u minus epsilon. So what is u minus epsilon? This is u minus epsilon, this is u plus epsilon. So all the terms, somewhere here is m, somewhere here is m. So all the terms, this is the band, this is the band. So after including m, all the terms are greater than, strictly greater than u minus epsilon. So they are greater than u minus epsilon. So obviously they will be here. They are laying here. We don't know about this. We don't know about the terms started from a1, a2, am minus. We don't know about the pattern. But according to 1, they will be in this band. Fine, they are greater than. They may be, but here we have that they will be greater than this. Now, second equation says that an is less than u plus epsilon for all n belongs to n. So here an will be less than this. So the rest of the term may be here, some of them may be here, but they will not go beyond u plus epsilon. Fine. So if you will see that we are having a band around u with radius epsilon, and clearly after m, all the terms laying in between u minus epsilon and u plus epsilon. So we can say that an is laying in between u minus epsilon to u plus epsilon for all n greater than equals to m, because after this all the terms is laying in this band. So this is written in the next equation here. This is written here. Fine. So this can be rewritten in terms of magnitude is an minus u is less than epsilon. This is valid for all n, and this is nothing but the limit of n equal to u. So we can say that an converges to u. Fine. So this is the proof of the first part. Similarly, we can prove the second part. So let an be the monotonically decreasing sequence which is bounded below. So we are having a now decreasing sequence which is bounded below. Then let L be the greatest lower bound of the sequence. So here we have already shown this thing, that suppose we are having a decreasing pattern and L be the lower bound of the sequence. Now we have to prove that an tends to L. So we shall show that an converges to L. Fine. So suppose epsilon be greater than 0, then obviously L plus epsilon will be greater than L, and in that case L plus epsilon is not a lower bound of the sequence, because if this is lower bound of the sequence, then if L plus epsilon is here, and since this is the lower bound of the sequence, this is the greatest lower bound, this is not the lower bound, this is the greatest lower bound. So if you slightly add some amount, then immediately you can some term here am, which is less than this. So this is written here. So there exists a positive integer m such that am is less than L plus epsilon, and since an is a monotonically decreasing, then for all n greater than equals to m, the associated term will be less than equals to am, because they will be decreasing. So an is less than equals to am. Now when we combine these two, so what we get, an is less than equal to am from here, but am is less than L plus epsilon. So this is written here. This is valid for all n greater than equals to m. So which can be rewritten as an is less than L plus epsilon for all n greater than equals to m. So this is equation number 1. But L is the greatest lower bound of an. So all the term of the sequence will be obviously greater than this number. So an is greater than equals to L. So but L is also greater than L minus epsilon. There are slightly subtract some amount, then this is also valid for this. So that's why an is greater than L minus epsilon for all n belongs to. This is equation number 2. When you combine these two, then again you will get the same graph, because here if you we will, here is now L plus epsilon, L minus epsilon. So according to the first equation, an is less than L plus epsilon for all n greater than equals to m. So somewhere here is m. So first equation says that an is less than this number. So an is less than this number for all this. An is, so an is less than L plus epsilon for all n plus m. Fine. Now in the second, what we get, we are having that an is greater than L minus epsilon for all. So an is greater than this number. An is greater than this number. So that's why we can easily say that we are having this kind of pattern. So after m, we are having a band in which all the terms is laying around L with radius epsilon. That's why we can rewrite this L minus epsilon to an is less than L plus epsilon for all n belong greater than equals to m, and which can be rewritten in this form of magnitude. Magnitude of an minus L is less than epsilon for all n greater than equals to m, which is nothing but limit n tending to infinite, an is equal to L, and that's why we can say that an converges to L. So this is the theorem based on monotonicity. Thank you.